Welcome to the channel. In this episode I will introduce, in my opinion, best high DPS build for Wizard. After testing so many combinations, I can confidently say that this one is extremely good. So if you still play your Wizard this way, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because only here I will show you much better alternatives. First of all, I would like to mention that many of you convinced me to change my main class, which obviously is Necromancer, to Wizard. At the same time, a lot of people complain that Wizard was a completely unplayable class, which, to be honest, is completely incomprehensible to me, because since I've been playing as a Wizard, I can't find anything that a Necromancer is better at. It's worth saying that summons make higher DPS, but really, nobody cares. Wizard is much more interesting to play, both PvP and PvE-wise. Countless of solutions are amazing. I can even say that the number of solutions for the Wizard might be overwhelming, and maybe this is the main reason why people have such a bad opinion about Wizard. However, I promised myself that I won't use any laser-based builds, for a simple reason: channeled skills mean zero mobility. And in my opinion, mobility should always be a priority. Otherwise you won't have a good experience playing the Wizard. So now let's get to my build. As the first skill, Magic Missile. And this is actually another reason why I prefer to use primary attack rather than channeled skills. If you start thinking of it as your skill instead of an auto attack, then you will understand its true potential. That's why it's worth investing to essences, the one from main hand and second from offhand. This solution itself offers solid damage, but this is just the beginning. A small addition to the rest of the skills. The next skill is Lightning Nova, along with Armor Essence. In this way we get a light orb that orbits around us and attacks the target along with our magic missile. It is worth noting here that the skill becomes much more effective when our party member gives us an attack speed buff, but even without this, it is a very effective solution. Additionally, we can use offhand essence to obtain 60% movement speed after using Lightning Nova. Great option mobility-wise. Or simply add additional missiles to our primary attack. It will result in greater effectiveness for area of damage. The next skill is Disintegration, along with New Shoulder's Essence. Now we can use it as persistent ground effect, which works perfectly for this setup. Not only the new Disintegration deals solid damage, but also it increases damage from all other sources. That's why for me it's must-have option. To reduce cooldown as much as possible, I use Leg's Essence, Hastened Oblivion. But depending on your preference, you can use the damage boost for Disintegration. And with the main hand I used additional range, but in this case you can also use the damage boost, depending on your personal preferences. But with all that being said, let's move to the build essential. This is slow time with a new head essence. This way we get an additional boost for all previous skills, primary attack, green set, and gems. Therefore, to use the full potential of slow time, it is worth building a character using mechanics that synergize with this skill. I described it in more detail in the previous video. As the last skill I used teleport without any essence, but for more stationary fights you can replace it with any continuous damage skill. However, for me the damage is enough, so I prefer to have more mobility. When it comes to green set, I use full banquet, due to the critical chance and the great synergy of the last bonus with slow time. However, if you prefer to use Flagellant's Grace, then for pieces might be a good option as well. You can mix it with the pieces of Banquet or Baron. If we are talking about legendary gems, then for this configuration I recommend mainly continual damage, even though I mentioned in the previous video that without enough potency, you won't get such good results with them. But as I said, the wizard now has a slow time which significantly shortens the dot intervals, making gems of this type much better than for any other class. So as always, besides Pain class, Viper's Bite and Seeping Bile, I got BSJ, Mother's Lament, Bloody Reach, and Berserker's Eye. Everlasting Torment is good option as well, or Void Spark for additional AoE damage. Moving on to the Paragon points tree, I use Weaver or Treasure Hunter, prioritizing in order damage, armor penetration, potency, and HP with resistance. For V, I completely ignore armor. If you need a quick build for overworld farming, then I recommend you check out my Quantum Wizard build. Since damage is not always most important factor, I hope you find this episode helpful. If so, then don't forget to click like button and subscribe to stay up to date. And as always, thanks for watching.